Mike Pompeo has also commented on Israeli plans to annex the West Bank. He said the move is a decision for the new Israeli government to make.
We're glad that there's a now fully formed government in Israel. As for the annexation of the West Bank, the Israelis will ultimately make those decisions. That's an Israeli decision, and we will work closely with them to share with them our views of this in a private setting.
Now, we have three correspondents on this story. Nida Ibrahim is standing by in Ramallah. Harry Fawcett is in West Jerusalem. But first, let's go straight to our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett in Washington, D.C. This isn't a huge surprise, but still it begs some interpretation. What does he mean by it's up to Israel? Is this the Trump administration green-lighting annexation of what is internationally recognized as illegal?
Yeah, it's really unclear, but one could only take that as sort of the conclusion that you could get from those statements. These are the first comments coming since the formation of the Israeli government, and the position by this administration has always been very pro-Israel from day one, whether it was the releasing of the Mideast plan in January, which people said was decidedly in favor of Israel, the fact that, in fact, none of the Palestinian leaders had even been consulted, or to the movement of the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. It's not been hard to know where the U.S. president stands in terms of which side, if you want to sort of put it that way, that he's on. Now, there's no question that many are viewing this as a green light, if you will, to essentially annex the West Bank by Israel, the green light by the U.S. administration. But prior to these elections that took place in Israel, the White House had been giving conflicting messages. At one point, the U.S. ambassador to Israel saying that it would be okay to move ahead with annexation, only to be sort of for there to be a pause, if you will, in those statements, or a suggestion of that by Jared Kushner, the president's senior advisor, and his son-in-law, saying, in fact, this would have to be a joint American-Israeli decision. But now it appears we have some clarity coming from the U.S. Secretary of State, saying that, in fact, this is an Israeli decision, and it doesn't appear that he is suggesting that there should be any pause of any sort anymore.
All right, let's thank Kimberly Halkett. More to discuss on this, though, if we head over to Harry Fawcett in West Jerusalem. Have we had any reaction out of the Israeli government? Of course, we should say the new Israeli government.
Yes, not yet. And I think that is key, that there is this new Israeli government as of Monday evening, the Unity Emergency Government, as they're calling it, in which Benny Gantz, the former leader of the opposition, joined Benjamin Netanyahu, allowing him to stay in office, he said, because of the current emergency with coronavirus. But as part of the negotiations which led up to that announcement, he gave way on what had been a key issue, being the annexation of large parts of the occupied West Bank. It had been understood that he was seeking a veto, trying to ensure that other voices were brought into the picture before any move was made on annexation, including Israel's neighbors in the region and also European nations. But that is not there in the deal that was announced. Indeed, it says from July the 1st, Benjamin Netanyahu can bring it both to cabinet and to the Israeli parliament, the Knesset. And so that, combined with the fact that there is this signal from the United States, from this very senior U.S. government figure in Mike Pompeo, does suggest that things are moving in that direction. There is supposed to be still this mapping plan, a joint team of U.S. and Israeli officials delineating exactly which parts under the plan that was announced in January could be annexed by Israel. But it seems pretty clear that as far as Mike Pompeo is concerned, the ultimate decision will be up to Israel.
All right, let's cross over. Let's thank Harry. We're going to join now Nida Ibrahim, joins us from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. And Nida, I imagine this is only going to further cement the Palestinians' suspicion of the U.S. not really playing that role as an honest broker.
Yes, and they've been saying that ever since the U.S. administration announced plans to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Palestinians have been saying that the U.S. lost its credibility as an honest broker for the peace process. They've been calling for an international peace conference where different parties play a role in ending that conflict. Now, to the issue of the statement of Pompeo, we've spoken to the member of the executive committee of the PLO, Hanan Ashrawi. She says that these statements not only encourage Israel to continue its actions on the ground, but gives it a cover to annex and steal more lands. We've heard also from the Palestinian president's spokesperson, Nabil Aburdena, who says that this only empowers Israel, but also that the U.S. does not really have any legitimacy or any ownership of the land to give Israel the legitimacy to annex it. The Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, have been addressing the nation in a pre-recorded televised speech that was recorded before the Pompeo statement, but he addressed this very issue, and it's expected that his position will remain the same even after. He said that he will be cutting all signed agreements with Israel if Israel moves forward with these plans. Of course, this is a statement that we've heard from Abbas many times, and many analysts would say that he really doesn't have any more cards to play at this point. That's why he's been seeking the international community. He's been saying that this is illegal under international law, and Israel now is more empowered than ever by the current U.S. administration to continue with its actions on the ground, including annexation, which is considered illegal under international law.
All right, Nida Ibrahim from Ramallah.